Hello, hello, hello. Hey, we are having a bit of technical difficulty, so please bear with us for one moment. Go to your home screen. Okay. You got it? Okay. I do apologize for the awkward silence for about a minute, but that's what happens in showbiz. Get used to it. If you can't make a few mistakes, then you are not prepared to be in show business. Anywho, this is Mo and Bobby Brackens coming to you with live dark news. We have a lot to cover tonight, and we are going to get in as much as we possibly can. How are you doing tonight, Miss Bobby?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I can't complain. It's Friday. We got some.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but shout out to the Mercury in retrograde. Mercury used every bit of her retrograde time to stomp on everybody's optimism, hopes, and dreams. But luckily, it'll be over around the 11th, and we can get back to somewhat normal life.
Because for most of y'all don't know, y'all might be believing in your Jesus and your Catholicism and all of that, but we all do understand that there is spirits and energy that floats around us continuously. So if you've been feeling some type of way, we probably know why.
Mercury is in full force retrograde, and she is A-Town stomping on everybody's hope. So it's everybody, but fear not, it'll be over next week.
It's Friday. We got some Pinot Grigio.
Yep.
And a lot of information to send y'all rolling with.
A lot of things to talk about.
So what are we going to start with first tonight? So this episode is actually called The Curious Case of the Missing Doctors, White Tears, and Ashy Colorism for a reason. There is a lot going on in this country that a lot of people don't understand. You know, they want to make it seem like it's not a race issue, but it turned into a race issue when colonizers decided to come over here.
Yeah. And the thing about it that makes it so crazy is you hear people repeatedly say things like, it's not about race, it's not about race. But, I mean, this country was founded on racism.
Right.
It was founded on genocide. So you can't say something's not about race when that's the foundation of a country.
Exactly. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And we bring this up for two reasons. One, if you go on my page, if you go under Courtney Johnson, aka Mo, you'll find that I did my best not to talk about what happened with the Parkland shooting that took place at St. Marian Douglas School in Florida. Simply for the fact that, and again, this is going to offend some of y'all, I really did feel like that was a white issue. I felt like this was another school shooting that happened in another predominantly white area that they allowed happen because Florida does have lax gun laws.
They do.
But thanks to Bobby, she did bring something to my attention that, again, I was completely oblivious to. There are some black students at Parkland that are saying that, yes, gun reform is great. March for Our Lives is wonderful. Not taking anything away from that. But black people have been experiencing gun violence for decades upon decades upon decades. But now all of a sudden we have an actual conversation going on that's not involving black people.
Yeah, I was going to say, we know why we're having a conversation now. Mm-hmm. We know why. Not to say, because we don't, it's always tragic when somebody dies in such a violent manner, anytime somebody's murdered, but we have to be honest about the fact that the only reason why this is getting so much attention, there's rallies that's never been done like this before, is because of the fact that it was mostly white children who were murdered. Because honestly, we should have been having a conversation about gun violence long ago. We should have started having a conversation about gun violence when race soldiers disguised as cops were killing unarmed black people at an alarming rate.
At the same note, to that I say we just had an incident where Stephon Clark was shot in his backyard 20 times. Now, look, I'm not going to talk about his anti-blackness. I'm not. Because, listen.
No, and I get it.
Okay.
I was going to say.
Listen, that's a thin line. But if we excuse one, they will take it and say that we excuse the rest. His anti-blackism, we can always put that up to question, but he is a black man. I'm not protecting him, I'm protecting mine. So when we see the Parkland incident happen, 17 victims shot with a AR-15, and then we see police officers kill an innocent black man in his backyard, allegedly innocent, I'll throw that in there, allegedly innocent black man in his backyard. People are saying that's two separate incidents.
But it's not.
Exactly.
Because it was two, in both instances, it was unarmed innocent people being shot and killed for no apparent reason at all. And that's why I say you can't say that, we can't sit up here and pretend like everything is not about race. Because laws that were made, they make laws based on race. And we can pretend like that's not the case, but that's been like that, like I said, since the beginning of this country.
So in a lot of the interviews that were done with Parkland students, y'all have seen them on CNN. They've had video diaries. They've been making speeches. They've been going to Chicago. One of Hosing is her name. She was a student at Parkland. She actually has a story where she had to hide up under one of her dead friends to avoid being shot herself. And in this interview, she said, why did they go all the way to Chicago to get a black perspective when in two neighborhoods over, there's also a gun epidemic in the black community? She felt that they were trying to do the right thing, but still had their own biases to it.
Taking advantage of what was so-called what is so-called said to be the most violent city in America.
So said. And actually, I learned a fun fact today. So if y'all saw my post earlier, I got into a conversation with someone about Chicago gun violence. Did a little bit of research for myself. Now, I told him gun violence includes homicides, suicides, and accidents. Do you know what state actually has most homicides, suicides, and accidents when it comes to guns?
No, who?
Alaska.
Wow.
Right, and the population of black people in Alaska is 3.6.
Right, exactly.
It's 3.6. So there's probably a total of 10 people in Alaska that are black. But again, Chicago is called one of the deadliest cities in North America. Why? Because it has a large population of black people.
Yes. So of course they piggybacked on that and said, okay, well, we had one of the most violent shootings. So let's go to the place that's said to be the most violent city, and that's what we're going to use as our platform.
See, but that's really sad because you have black students who are just as traumatized as these white students, and they're being put.
Like literally, they have PTSD.
Right, literally, but you don't see any of them on CNN or Fox News or MSNBC. So
because they don't care, because according to a poll done by CNN, 40% of white people in this country that they've actually polled said that if black people just tried harder, none of this would happen.
If black people tried
If we
harder,
just tried harder
at best.
If we would just pull ourselves up from our bootstraps, even though we're wearing flip-flops, this shit would never happen.
Well, I think it also boils down to, if they polled the same people and asked this question, do you think that black people are just naturally more violent?
Yeah. And you know what? I kind of wonder, like, who are these people polled? Is it everybody at the staff meeting? Like, what the fuck is really going on?
In the room and they pass around a notebook.
Did they go next door to Fox News and said, we'd like to take an opinion poll since we're both owned by Rupert Murdoch? I mean, we might as well.
Right. Our checks are signed by the same people.
Yeah, exactly.
So it really boils. Now, in the conversation, it came to, from what I read, and this is where we might disagree. I might actually hear us disagree on something. So, this guy that I was listening to, this guy I was reading up on, he says that the only way we as black people will ever get change is if we allow people of European descent to make that change happen. Now, the little bit of gun reform we might get might not be as extreme as we want it to be, but at least it's something. And trust me, we black people, we know how that goes. You know, just hold off a little bit longer. You're going to get what
someday,
you want.
Even though someday ain't on the damn calendar. But we'll pretend like it is. Just keep it cute.
But wait, so I somewhat in policy agree with that. Bump stocks ain't gonna keep black people from dying, but if we have a little bit of gun control, maybe that'll stop so many guns from flowing into black communities. Maybe. I'm not talking about definites. I'm talking about there's like literally flip a coin and see what happens.
You know what this kind of sounds like to me?
What?
This sounds like this kind of sounds like similar to what was said when the colonizers arrived and said, let me give you this Bible and I'll manage the land because I know what's best for you.
Right.
And I want to civilize you.
True. Very true.
And don't worry, one day you might get treated like a human being.
It does sound like that. It really does. It really does. But
and we got to quit doing that. That's a bunch of horseshit. Because I feel like this, just like what we were talking about before we got on, power isn't given, it's taken. So as long as we keep telling people, just sit your ass in the back. And we'll talk for you, tell you what you're supposed to think, what you're supposed to say, and what you're supposed to feel. It's never going to get any better. Like, I just be feeling like, ain't people tired of this shit when they sitting up there telling you, just protest and cry in the fucking corner?
Right, get behind. Well, but
just cry in the corner.
On top of that,
and take that shit. And one day, someday the 15th, and change is gonna come. February the 10th, it's gonna come.
I agree with you to a certain extent because most of the European descent population understands they're not going to get anything done without black support. Literally, you can look at Alabama. You can look at Alabama with the whole race of the pedophile. They literally, if it had not been for black women, they would have a white supremacist as a governor. So they understand we have to have black support behind us to get any type of movement. Out of the 800,000 people, because it happened on March 30th, this whole March for Our Lives happened. Mm-hmm. There was over 800,000 people that showed up nationwide for these protests.
Yeah.
Of those 800,000 people, 700,000 people of them were not even Caucasian.
So you're basically saying we really have all the power.
We do have the power.
So that don't make no damn sense.
Wait. So we do have the power, but we're not the face. Because as soon as you see a black face or a Hispanic face or an Asian face behind any brand, it's automatically dust off to the side to, oh, they're automatically already violent. Oh, we already know their culture. They're not really for change. They like the way that they live because that's, what they're accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks, but I somewhat agree. These little 17-year-old kids that's getting George Soros money might actually need to push it so that we can actually get change.
But wait, George Soros also funds Black Lives Matter. So, see that's that thing.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Okay, Black Panther movie.
Right.
Still breaking records. Probably going to keep breaking records. They'll probably talk about Black Panther 30 years from now. But at the same time, that's an example of that's an example of our power when we rally around something we believe in.
Fun fact. Black Panther is set to break the Titanic record from 1993. It is also the first movie to be streamed in Saudi Arabia in 35 years.
Yep.
So literally we have changed history and the scope across the globe.
Yep. Now imagine if we put that type of determination behind social issues in this country. Well, see what I'm saying?
I understand.
See? And we said...
I will hail that to you. I will give that to you. That's you. Boom. She wins this argument. That's right. I quit. She wins. You got that.
I just wish, we got to get organized and we got to tap into our power. And we got to get to the point where we say, I don't give a damn what you talking about. I'm going to get what I need to get, point blank, period.
You're right. I get it.
And don't apologize for it and continue to stand on your square and be about it. And I kind of wonder too, and this might be kind of straddling the fence, don't go there. But I'm kind of wondering, what if when somebody was killed by a race soldier disguised as a cop, killed unarmed. What if we started saying, fuck your settlements? We taking this all the way.
Wait, I actually had that conversation with a coworker last week. So he asked me, what would happen if I got shot? What would happen if I died? And I've asked my family this several times over. If I got shot by a race soldier, would you take the money? Now, a couple of my family members said yes.
Of course, right.
Some of them said yes. But the ones that I know that are my ride or die, they was like, no, of course not. Why would I? They said they want the city named after me. They want the police officers fired. They got to move out of state. They got to go somewhere else. There is not going to be no library or center named after me. Every time you look up, you're going to think of, man, I can't shoot this black person. I can't do it. I will lose my livelihood if I do. And that is an element to it. We have now put a dollar sign on our lives. We have said, if you give us the right amount of money, we'll brush it up under the rug and be perfectly fine with it.
And we'll cry while the NAACP is behind us and talk about how we forgive them after the check clears.
Please don't talk about the NAACP.
We ain't got enough time. We ain't got enough time, but I encourage everybody to Google who started the NAACP, who founded it and who's funding it. But that's on another show.
That is on another show. So we have proven that white tears do work, but white tears don't work for everybody.
That's true. Like I said, it just comes down to recognizing your power and not being afraid to use it.
But some people aren't ready to be a martyr.
No, I'm not saying be a martyr.
Some people,
but you know what? You know what the crazy thing is?
What?
I can kind of get with you with the martyr thing. But the funny thing about it, the people who are winning are trained to go and ready to die for it at any moment.
That's true, because if you look at some of these kids on CNN, they are some of the most articulate kids I've ever seen in my life. Like, if I was 17 years old talking on a national stage, talking about gun reform, I'd be stuttering up a storm. But these kids, literally, they know how to say what they want, say how they're going to get there, and look power in the eye and say, this is how it is. And most of them have been attacked on so many different levels, not even shaking in their boots. Don't even care. They've been threatened. They've been stalked. They've been followed. Don't even care. It's like it does not faze them. And they're 17 years old.
And you want to know something else interesting? The Charleston church shooter, Dylan Roof.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up.
But you know, the thing about it, I will say, and it's fucked up,
what?
He got exactly what he wanted. He wanted to be a martyr for the cause.
Yes.
They sentenced him to death. He wanted that.
And they're still talking about him.
Yeah.
They're still talking about him to this day. They're going to talk about him until the end of time.
I swear, when you go to the Grand Wizard Clan rallies, you're going to have a black and white newspaper photo of Dylan Roof right next to Hitler.
Exactly. He has no problem with that.
Yeah, he wanted it.
Right.
When he was in court and then people was crying and saying, I forgive you, he was like, why am I listening to this shit? I did what I came to do, and I'm not sorry about what I did. I said what I said, and I did what I did.
And the lawyer was petting him and rubbing him.
And he was like, bitch, get your hand off of me. I'm for the movement. I did what the movement wanted to do. I want this smoke, literally.
Now,
and mission accomplished.
It would be completely different, though, if the black people was like, no, I don't want him to die in 30 years. I want him dead now. I want him to suffer. I want him to feel the amount of pain that I feel. But we're expected to forgive and forget and march and move on.
I say it's important to forgive for yourself, but do not forget. Don't forget. I mean, don't forget to the point. I want you to not forget to the point where you think them motherfuckers is in your bushes, watching you while you go to work, come home, go to sleep. That's how much we need to be on alert to people who want to kill us just because the wind swayed to the left when they wanted it to sway to the right. Like a lot of these white terrorists who've done things this year, it was like what even triggered them? It was like they went in there focused, ready, and with a purpose. And people want to give them excuses like, well, they were sick. No, they weren't.
Pause.
They weren't sick.
Pause.
They had a purpose.
Pause. So, more studies. So we are prone to say it's a mental health disease or mental health issue.
That's the concept. No, when you're white, it's a mental health issue.
Right.
When you're black.
But if you actually look into CDC studies, you know what demographic actually has the most mental issues? Black women.
I believe that.
Black women across this country have been noted to have the most mental issues, the most post-traumatic stress disorders.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't seen one walk up in a school
and shoot up innocent children?
Not one.
I think it's just that certain people with certain genetic characteristics have a genetic trait to be more violent than others.
Bring it back. And we're gonna end this one right there. No,
I'm saying I really want to see a scientific study because I really believe it, because it really trips me out how certain people they can literally drop an ice cream cone and they're ready to walk into the library and just set it off.
There has been studies in pathology that says that some people with certain characteristics.
It's the Pinot Grigio, I swear.
Right, it's the Pinot Grigio. We're drinking while we do this. But there is studies that have tried to prove that, the same way that there's studies that said because if you have darker skin, you're stupid.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So there are a lot of studies, and I can assure y'all, I've been reading a lot. So, into our next subject, while we're talking about science and all that good stuff.
Oh, man.
Did y'all hear about the missing doctor?
Y'all better get on y'all fruits and vegetables.
Did y'all hear about the missing doctor?
Y'all better get on y'all Dr. Sebi diet.
He turned up decomposed in a river after being missing for 4 weeks.
No, it was 2 months.
It's 2 months?
Yeah, it was back in February. Because it's April now.
Oh, it is April. Never mind.
So February.
My bad, y'all. My time is all messed up. My bad. So, Dr. Cunningham? Is that what we're calling him?
Dr. Timothy Cunningham.
Dr. Timothy Cunningham, who was, I guess, in respect to his life passing, was a highly respected, and I'm going to say this word completely wrong, epidemiologist?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay, I don't know how to say the word.
Long story short, he was a scientist with the CDC.
No, it goes
highly respected.
It goes deeper than that. He wasn't just a scientist. He studied disease and pulmonary issues across demographics.
He did, and he was very instrumental with the Zika outbreak and the Ebola outbreak.
Exactly. He was one of the doctors that pointed out key factors in how diets, environments, and social issues affected every group of people, from man, child, black, white. He literally devoted over 10 years to studying this. So he literally was changing science in his study.
And the crazy thing, he was still up and coming when he died. Like, he still had so much more work to do.
Right. So the story goes, he was reported to feeling ill on February 11th. He was up for a promotion, but he said he was going home. He didn't feel right. 2 days later, his family calls from Maryland, haven't heard from him, haven't seen him, haven't talked to him. They drive down from Maryland to find his house empty, his car keys still there, his wallet still there, his dog is still there, his car, right. It was as if he literally vanished without anything. Now, the police are reporting this, no foul play, there's really no issue. It just might be a bad walk, gone terribly wrong. But, now, we do dabble in conspiracy. I did some more research. He is the 12th doctor to go missing from the CDC. He is not the first. He is not the last. I am pretty sure of that. Because in some of his studies, now if you go back and look from a study in November of 2017, they were actually, because he's in Atlanta, they were actually...
Headquarters of CDC.
Headquarters of CDC is in Atlanta. He was actually about to submit a research paper that was saying that black people should abstain from eating meat, dairy, and certain vegetables from primary factories and farms in Georgia because it affected their health. Now, in my mind, I'm like, wow, you might be messing with some people's money if you're about to submit a paper like that. But then it's like, wait, but you're not the first doctor to go missing. What about the other doctors? So there was 3 doctors that went missing in December. There was 2 doctors that went missing in September, and several more throughout 2017. So it's like, what's really going on? What did you know and these other doctors know? Because again, they're reporting it as no foul play. But this man's body has been missing for 2 months.
There's never any foul play. There could be 5 bullet holes to the chest, and there's not going to be any foul play. Like, we don't know. Maybe he tripped and fell on his gun. Like
I've actually read stories like that. I've actually read stories. There was a bullet shot through the heart. There was a bullet shot, 2 bullet shots into the rib cage, and they were like, "Yeah, he fell on his gun." I was like, "What?" And people bought that. People were like, "Yeah, the police never lie. The police they definitely did their investigation. The autopsy doesn't lie. They was right." He fell on his gun. So, in his studies, he was about to literally transform what could be Atlanta's dietary needs.
Yeah. And you want to know what's interesting? His neighbor, Viviana Torrey, she told CBS in an interview that the day before he disappeared, he told her, delete my number out of your phone. And she thought it was really weird how he was really like anxious and like, delete my number out your phone, any message, just delete it. And that was it. He didn't give any details. He didn't explain, but that's all he told her.
And this is a person who everybody that they interviewed said he was always happy, very respectable, was smiling. His smile was just as warm as his hugs. This was not a hostile person in any type of way. If his mom, his dad, all like literally gave him high regard as being a good human being. But, when you talk about messing with people's monies and, increasing the lifespan of black people, I don't know if anybody's really gonna, be on your side. You become an enemy of the state.
Yeah. And I just kind of thought that was weird that the neighbor was kind of like, yeah, he told me pretty much delete any information, his phone number, I'll act like you never knew me, which I kind of thought was weird too because you're neighbors, so of course, but maybe, I feel like he knew somebody was out to get him and they were probably maybe tapping his phones, maybe tapping his cell phone, or maybe he had conversations with his neighbor where he was like, to keep you out of danger, just delete anything I sent you.
Did you read the article that he did send one last text message? Now, I don't know if it was from him, but the last text message that was sent from his phone was sent to his mother at 2:13 a.m. the night that he would have gone missing. The message just reads, "Are you awake?" That was the last message sent from his phone, saying, "Are you awake?" And the mother says her phone was on silent. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. She was asleep.
This sounds too like...
Right. Now, the police, again, have chalked it up to being a mishap, no foul play, just a wonderful soul gone too early.
There's a rumor, too, and I didn't see it, and I kind of feel like if it was around, they probably took it off the web. But there was a rumor I heard, but I never seen it, that he was going to actually do a scientific article about the dangers of vaccines.
Yes, he actually did. He was one of the doctors that when it came to the Zika outbreak, he did not, they were saying that if they gave the pneumonia vaccine, that it would actually decrease the symptoms of Zika. But they were like, no, keep that under wraps.
No, but that's not a danger though, that's a help. But I mean, I heard that he was telling people straight, stay away from the vaccine.
When it comes to population control, are they really trying to help?
No, I'm saying him, not them.
Oh, okay.
He was releasing an article. Like, I know they ain't going to say the word. Because, I mean, I was doing research about vaccines a couple months ago, and I actually learned there is such thing as something called clean vaccines that don't involve any mercury.
Ooh.
But they're so expensive, they're only available to the upper echelon. And by upper echelon, I mean, like, aristocrats and politicians.
Right. Well, I think it's very curious that the doctors, because you actually posted the article today on your page about a herb doctor going missing. I think it's very peculiar that some of the doctors that have gone missing. Hey guys, it's Mo and Bobby Brack. I do apologize. We had a bit of technical difficulties, but like I say, if you can't mess up and make mistakes, then you really should be ashamed of business.
It's Mo and
Bobby's over there trying to make sure that everything is up and running perfectly.
Yeah.
She is a wonderful co-host. Y'all just don't understand. She's awesome. So, we left and we were talking about the missing doctors.
Okay, I'm ready. Sorry.
I swear, I'm telling y'all, she is like the best co-host in the world. I don't know what I would do without her, because she really does go with the flow. And again, if you cannot take, some rumble and tumble in showbiz,
Gotta take it in stride.
man, you need to get up out the game. You wasn't built for this.
And we are still in Mercury retrograde. So.
But she know me. I'm gonna cry a little bit in the corner, and then I'll be back ready to fight again.
Yeah, because you're a perfectionist, so I already know.
I am a perfectionist, so I'm already mad that I'm gonna have to see if I can connect these two and make it one post and go back to YouTube and fix it. So yeah, I'm already all over the place, but it doesn't matter. Y'all are back to the good shit. That's what counts. So.
Where do we leave off at?
We were talking about the missing doctors, but I think we are about to get into our favorite part of the conversation.
Wait, we got it. Also, we need to do an update.
What's the update?
The update is, remember when we were talking about Devontae Hart?
We're going to do you want to do that now, or do you want to do that after our wonderful, wonderful fun segment?
Let's do the serious stuff first.
Okay.
Because it is.
Okay, I got you. Boom. Okay. So, seriousness of all seriousness. We have an update from last week's episode. We were talking about how Devontae had died in a car crash. He is the free hugs child that everyone became very familiar with knowing because he was hugging the cop. So, Bobby, you want to take over since you're the one that discovered this?
Yeah. I seen somebody on an online blog talking about this, about how there are several videos of Devontae Hart on, I think her name is Jennifer Hart, on YouTube. Her YouTube channel, it says Jen Hart. And I've seen some things that kind of look like it kind of helped stand behind what we were talking about last week about about the abuse and how the kids were mistreated. And there's one video on her YouTube page where Devontae Hart is a couple years younger, and he's actually dancing around in his underwear at 1 o'clock in the morning. And it's very disturbing because, one, I'm like, why are you having this little boy dancing around in front of a webcam? Who is he dancing for? And it almost looked like you couldn't tell if he enjoyed it or if it looked like he kind of was trying to have fun with it, but then it also looked forced. Like, hurry up and do this video. And one interesting thing is, in the video, you could tell they have a really beautiful home, no lie. They have a really beautiful home. Friends talked about how they had chickens and little animals and things of that nature. That costs money. Mm-hmm. But then it also talks about how one mom stayed home and allegedly stayed home and didn't work, and the other one kind of worked odd jobs. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of thinking, how the hell did she afford that house? Or what kind of odd jobs did she do to get that house? Not trying to accuse her of anything, not trying to, but I'm just kind of trying to, I think it's kind of a coincidence that she's having these kids do these little webcam videos, and she's in this nice house, and it kind of looked like most of the stuff the kids did was kind of forced. And then there's a second video where they're at some weird hippie retreat in the park, and he's dancing, and there's kind of this man kind of dancing with the kid, Devontae Hart, and his other foster brothers and sisters in a very weird way. They're like kind of dancing, and I don't know, man. I
watched the videos that she posted, and I was like, you're right. That does look really, really weird. Like, it's not one of those things where you're just like, oh, that's awkward, that's funny. It's one of those things where you're just like, why and who?
Yeah, and it's like they're dancing around in a park, and there's weird sunken place music being played in the background, and this guy, I think, is kind of inappropriately dancing with the foster children. And Major Key, he had a sign that said what?
Free hugs.
And this is a couple years before he had the free hug sign at the Black Lives Matter rally.
Which is very, very worrisome, because when he passed away, he was, what, 14, 15?
Yeah.
So this means at 4 years ago, at the age of 10 or 11, these foster parents have their very small child
giving free hugs to grown-ass men
at a hippie fest. And I'm a hippie at heart, so I've been to plenty
You're
of
not
those.
weirdo hippie, though.
I'm not weirdo hippie, but I've been to plenty of hippie gatherings, and that's not somewhere where I would bring my little brother.
So, yeah, at the end of the day, it was kind of disturbing to see that, update, and they still haven't found his body, and it's tragic, and it's stuff like this that makes us kind of reluctant when we see, even if you consider yourself a liberator and for the movement, it kind of makes you give a side eye when you see these people and they swear they're for the movement, but then you find out they're abusing
the same
black children.
Right, because these women were known to be a part of Black Lives Matter. They were known to be for the cause and black liberation and equal rights and all that good stuff. But then you peek behind the curtain to find out they use that as a veil to their evilness.
And killed the children.
Now, allegedly.
Oh, yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly killed the children. Now, we can only say allegedly because we don't have any facts other than what we find out, other than what we see. So, yeah, and if you notice, you don't see a lot of this in the news anymore.
You don't.
They're
trying to wipe it away.
They've literally pushed it under the rug for the next week's story.
And that should go to show us in the black community, labels don't mean shit. We need to start making people show and prove. And give them the side eye until proven worthy.
Right.
Till proven worthy, give me the side eye.
Because these are our children, and our children are our next generation. And if they see us giving our children just to anybody and everybody, that gives them no value.
True. We need to step up as a village.
Most definitely. It takes a village to raise a child.
Okay.
On that one.
Fun shit. Let's go.
All right. Okay. So, I am a moderator of this, and I'm going to make sure that we keep it down this time, because last week we got in-depth and deep. If you did not catch last week's episode, I'm so sorry. But luckily, I recorded it, so you can go watch it on my page. You can watch it on Bobby Bracken's page. And if you have any questions, want to post, comment, like, share, please do. Because the more the merrier. We can always be wild and have a party.
And we're trying to get better.
And I welcome criticism. I'm not
steel sharpens steel.
I'm not like one of these people that's like, oh, don't tell me I'm bad.
And plastic can melt plastic.
Tell me what I need to do better, please. Oh, hello, Mrs. Hayes.
That's Shantae.
Hey, Shantae.
I think. Hold on.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Shantae. She says his parents were forcing those kids to perform. Shake
That's
her
my
hand.
girl. Ow.
We definitely agree with you. And if you did not catch last week's episode, please go back. And if you have any comments, if you want to talk to Bobby about anything, you want to share something, I welcome it.
Oh, we will. Our chat stays linked.
Oh, I done heard about that group chat, girl. Man. I got some stories to talk to you about. Anywho, here's the fun stuff. How many of y'all like Chris Brown? How many of y'all actually support him, like him, listen to his music? Maybe have gone to a concert or two. Not going to be that chick. I've gone to one concert. It was actually the first concert I ever went to. I like the music. Some of the music. Not all of the music. But he came, and it's Friday too. Look at that. It's Friday. He came out with a new song. Freaky Friday.
Mixed reviews.
I like Lil Dicky. I do to a certain degree. I like one of his songs. I ain't gonna lie. The song that he did with Snoop Dogg, I really do like that song. The song he did with Snoop Dogg was on point. It's called I Want to Be a Rapper.
I want some old wine.
Sure, because this is gonna get fun.
I'm about to.
This is gonna be fun. Oh, you spelled it. Okay, so.
I want to hear your take on the song first. If you don't know, Chris Brown and Lil Dicky, Weirdo Dicky, they came out with a new song called Freaky Friday. And it's getting a lot of traction, some good, some bad. There's been a lot of blogs written about it. And I want to hear your take on what you think of the song first. Because after I give my take, I might be called a paranoid hotep nigga. But I'm cool with it, though.
Okay, so if y'all haven't been able to tell the difference between the two, I am very positive and optimistic and loving and wonderful, and I never want to call. It's not that I don't want to set fire to shit like I really do, anarchists and all that. I just want to do it progressively and slowly and surely. She, on the other hand, give this bitch a blowtorch.
I'm gonna hit you over the head with a brick of information.
Right. Okay. My take on the song. So I was up at midnight when it came out because I wanted to be one of the people to review it. I listened to it once. I'm not going to lie. I listened to it once. I think it came on the radio once while I was in my car. I don't bob to it. I don't sing along to it because to me, it's pandering. To me, to hear him say I'm a light-skinned nigga, you know, I got a big dick, oh my God, I got a kid, oh my God, I don't have to be judged for my past, things of that nature. I feel like he pandered because of who he was co-writing the song with. Lil Dicky is Jewish and white, and
no, he's white. He's
white.
A white Jew.
Hey now.
No, he's a white.
Hey now.
Listen, side note. I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, that they can't be racist because they're Jewish."
No, I never said that. I never said that.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying in general. So many racists use that talking point, and black people fall for it.
Okay.
And I'm tired of that because Jew is not a race.
But I put that in there because he has a lot of money. Most people, if you listen to his song, he's always talking about how he's average.
So he's just a rich white man, basically.
Hold on.
Who happens to be Jewish.
Hold on. He talks about being average and poor and saving money and
he's
not having.
Poor. I thought he was rich.
Paul!
I'm confused.
Exactly! That's what makes him appealing. Because he's white, because he's Jewish, you automatically have this assumption that, oh, of course he's got money, of course he can do this. But if you listen to his songs, he talks about being average and being without and having to save and work up to this. It is literally a copiism of the opposite powers. You cannot tell me that you are just an average white schmuck off the side of the street and you're producing $1 million song with Chris Brown. You can't say that.
Yeah. He had the bag before he even started rapping. This is fun shit for him.
Exactly. He has a 4-year degree master's in business, okay? So he had money.
And his uncle's going to get him a job.
Most definitely. If he wants to quit.
At the bank.
And he wants to, at the bank, fuck that. He can go to the White House tomorrow if he wants to. I'm pretty sure he can lick a boot right now and wake up beside Donald Trump, okay? Like, that's again, beyond the point. Beyond the point. I didn't like the song. I didn't hate the song. I don't like the song. So, to me, I didn't really give it any real deep thought. I really didn't. It just sounded like another pop song to a black man pandering with a white guy and everybody bobbing to it.
Okay.
Hold on. Y'all are about to hear her go off, and this is going to get fun.
No, I'm about to say some hotep shit. It is cool, though.
Go for it.
No, my thing is, see, that's, I say, not you. I'm not saying you're the problem, but I'm saying the problem is that we don't look at things deep enough.
Oh, of course.
And that's why we think everything, we're to the point where we think everything is a joke.
I did think it was a joke.
And that's a problem because how deep are the jokes going to go until we say, hey, that's fucked up and offensive?
I told you, it will go however deep that check is. Because he had to...
No, I'm saying us. I'm not talking about him.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
He going to keep doing fuck shit as long as he gets the bag to get the coat. If he stays with an 8-ball, he going to be straight. I'm not talking about him. He can't be saved. I'm talking about us and what our reaction is towards the video. Okay. I found it highly offensive that... mostly the video. Mm-hmm. I found it highly offensive that in the video, Lil Dicky switches bodies with Chris Brown, mm-hmm. and he's like, yeah, now I can say the word nigga. Yeah. Now I have a black dick. Yeah. And it's not small. And now I'm a light-skinned nigga. It's almost like it's saying, okay, I'm white, but now I have what I want, which is a fetish for black dick. And not only that, I'm a socially acceptable color. Yeah. And that's what I've seen it as. That's why I'm like, you got to nip shit in the bud early before it gets to the point where people like Lil Dicky is saying nigga, nigga, nigga.
But there are already people like him.
No, I get that.
Man.
I get that, but they are. But Lil Dicky's not saying it. Who's the other white rapper?
Which one? I mean, like, really? Did you really just ask that question? Which
but
one?
Post Malone don't say nigga. That's what I'm saying. When Post Malone and all them start saying nigga, 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 nigga,
it'll be socially accepted.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the fucked up part. It is socially accepted.
Right.
And then they're going to say some bullshit like Veronica on Love and Hip Hop talking about I'm African because my ancestors from 10,000 years ago are from Africa. Right. They're going to use that bullshit talking point and then start saying nigga all the time.
But I don't want to use Chris Brown as an example for that then. Because
he agreed to it. Listen, I don't give a damn if he's a sick dope fiend or not. The fact that he participated in it is offensive enough. And then you use the fact that you light-skinned almost like that's a rite of passage for you to do this fuck shit song.
But it is a rite of passage because society...
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. I agree with you. But society has said as long as you're not my skin tone, because I'm dark chocolate and I love it. But as long as you're not my skin tone or... you know, a darker, you call yourself burnt butterscotch. As long as you don't, if you pass the brown paper bag test, then you're good. Then you're okay. So he could get away with it. But imagine 50 Cent saying something like that.
He couldn't.
Exactly.
Because he's not what society deems a socially acceptable skin color.
Exactly. So I try not to take what they say so seriously because society is fucked up. It's fucked up that you deem yourself worthy just because you got less melanin.
But that's the problem. If we don't start taking it serious now, then when it gets worse and worse and worse, we're going to wish that we did.
It's already worse when you got...
No, but I'm saying, but imagine it being worse than...
Hey, y'all, I don't know what's going on with my computer. It's literally kicking us out every time we go live. The last video was about 20 minutes. I will do an export of the videos and put it all together. I hope y'all haven't left. I hope y'all are still sticking around. I'm so sorry. Again, so sorry. Like, if you could see my face right now, I'm about to cry.
But she's not, because things happen, and we're going to get this shit fixed before the next channel, so it's fine. But back to what we were saying. What can be worse than this is when it gets to the point when a Post Malone or a Lil Dicky can say nigga this way 21 Savage says nigga, or the way the Migos say nigga, that's worse. And when people start saying, and then when people don't see it as no big deal, and then that turns into, because music influences all, then that turns into a white person thinking it's okay to say, yo nigga, get the fuck.
Okay, wait, pause.
And not deeming it not okay for you want to not punch them in the throat after they do it.
Pause. I had this conversation. You be laughing. I'll be so serious. You gotta have these conversations with these people at work because they really don't understand.
They don't want to. They don't want to. They're afraid to talk to me because they think I'm a light they ass up, and I probably will. You're probably right. And they know I'm a reading nigga, so they already know. I'm not saying that, but you know, I read like Noah. I read more than you, and I read for the fun of it. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. You do research. Yeah, I like to read more nonfiction. I like to read historical books. I like to read biographies. So, but like I said, they'll catch me reading a Malcolm X book at work.
They've caught me reading things like that at work, and they've only asked questions. You lead more bugs to honey than you do with garbage.
I don't care about that shit.
And I am of belief that more white people don't want to be racist. I'm a belief of that. I don't believe in that humanity shit, the equality shit, we're all equally made type shit. I don't believe in that. But if you'll at least say, I don't understand, tell me, I will tell you. And the topic of this discussion was, one of the coworkers felt some type of way about the fact that black people use the word nigga. He said, oh, if we can't say it, then you shouldn't say it. And I was like, but it's never been positive in your mouth. When you say that word, it's not a positive connotation. When we say it,
we're embracing ourselves.
We're embracing ourselves. It has 6 different meanings. It can go in 6 different places and 18 different sentences. You can't say that word because when you said it, it was meant to degrade us, to put us lower, to make us less than. And now you're mad because you can't say it? You can't have this one word.
And it's one of the things where it's like, you already got everything else. What the fuck is your problem with us using the N-word?
Right. So now I believe, because that's been a conversation for a minute. Now I believe with the emergence of more light-skinned rappers and white rappers appropriating black culture, that within the next 10 to 20 years, we are going to see a lot of white people saying the word nigga.
Because we don't care and we don't take it serious.
We got people in China and in Japan and Korea that are rap artists saying nigga.
Because they think we're a joke.
And they think that they're okay
people
with it. But we've let them.
That's true. That's what I was going to say. People who respect you won't push the envelope to say things degrading. People only do that when they don't respect you and they know they can get away with it. That's why I'm saying people see it as, oh, it's Lil Dicky, it's Chris Brown, it's just jokes. But why isn't anyone saying the joke is on us? It's like when people are laughing, they're laughing at us, we're laughing at ourselves, and it's just a clusterfuck circus.
Because it's only funny if you was a dark-skinned man.
It wouldn't be funny. Oh, but that brings a good point about the colorism thing. And about, it's kind of like, how are we going to get together and organize when we still doing this light skin versus dark skin bullshit?
Because, okay, so I will have to point out my own biases. And I ain't afraid of that.
Okay.
As a dark-skinned female, I have been a part of that light skin versus dark skin type thing. Because I have always been, it wasn't even light skin, dark skin. It was just like the more melanin you have, the more beautiful you are to me. So the darker you are, the more beautiful you are to me. Mm-hmm. But then when you look at the music industry, the film industry, you see some of the most popular artists or some of the most popular actresses are either white or light skinned. So it was very easy to put that divide in there when you say you can only make it so high when you're dark skinned.
Yeah.
Because the example I use is Azalea Banks and Cardi B. Azalea Banks got a nasty ass mouth. I don't like her. I don't like nothing that she do.
She burns a lot of bridges too.
She does, but she and Cardi B have some of the same mannerisms. If Azalea Banks says the same thing as Cardi B is looked at as, oh, she just wild, oh, she just funny, oh, she just being herself. But Azalea Banks is looked at, oh, you slutty, oh, you just nasty, oh, you just doing grimy shit.
Yeah, I would do more of a Marilyn Negra versus Cardi B. Because the thing I have about Azalea Banks burns bridges. Like, there's even a thing where her and Remy Ma are beefing.
Yes.
And you can't say, it's like, oh, it's because she's dark. Because Remy Ma is dark skinned.
Of course.
And Remy Ma, according to her text messages, try to help this young lady.
Yes.
And several people have tried to help her, and she fucked around and burned the bridge.
But that's why I say if her mouth was a little different, and she was saying the same things Cardi B was saying, it would still be looked at differently.
Yeah, and Cardi B, I've never known her to shit on people to the capacity of Azalea Banks. She's talked slick at the mouth, and besides the little Nicki Minaj bullshit, I've never known her shitting on people to help her.
I don't talk about that. I always talk about that at work. I don't want to talk about that.
Who does? Who talks about it?
Stephanie. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, Lord. I didn't know he was on like that. Shut up, Stephanie. But, yeah, but I would compare Cardi B to a Marilyn Negra because I think they're both Dominican. They both have the same characteristics. They both have the same personality traits. So, and I kind of feel like, and she got so much flack for standing up for dark-skinned Latinos, and it's sad. And that goes to show, and it wasn't even against white people, against black people. And it goes to show how we got a long way to go when it comes to this colorism shit.
Yes. But we have a long way to go because of societal beauty standards. That's all it really boils down to. We've been told white is right, straight is best. You know, you have literally islands and countries bleaching their skin. I told you about that time my husband came to me and said he wanted... Y'all,
talk about a testimony.
Oh my God, y'all!
Hold up. Let me give you the mic. She got a testimony. She got a testimony.
I be having some of the wildest experiences. And I really do be needing Bobby right there beside me so I know how to handle this shit. So I got married, and I love my husband, Nigerian man, chocolate, as dark as they come. I love it. And
I'm about to talk some shit because this one. No, go ahead. Go.
And when we moved to North Carolina, it was in the middle of summer. It's good.
Okay.
When we moved to North Carolina, look, I'm watching it. I'm watching it. When we moved to North Carolina, it was in the middle of the summer. So I think the coolest day was like 80 degrees. The hottest day was like 101. And we was literally right down the street from his job. So he figured, I don't have to drive my car. I'll just walk. Very physique man. He's in shape, whatever. So we take a picture, and he posted it on Facebook. His family sends him comments saying, oh, are you okay? You look a little sick. You getting dark. Now me, I ain't got no problem with this. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. I love it. I love it. I really do. But he comes to me and says, hey, babe, you know where I can get some skin lightening cream? And I was like, what'd you say?
He wanted that Ambi soap.
He was like, yeah, I just want to lighten my skin a little bit.
That cake soap.
Y'all, when I say I spazzed so bad, I mean, I went off on him. I was like, if you ever say some shit like that to me again, I will divorce you on sight. Like, just don't.
I mean, no shade, but I mean, your husband kind of gave you a confused look when you told him Jesus wasn't white. So I don't know what else you expect.
That's another conversation for another day. But to hear a very beautiful black man say he wants to lighten his skin, it literally knocked me out of reality for a moment, because I'm like, I love the way you look. Why would you ever want to change that? And you come from a fucking continent where people look like you.
Exactly.
What is wrong with you? What is going on? I don't understand. So when it boils down to colorism, it's literally society standards are telling him he's only handsome if he passed a paper brown test. Like, and that's messed up. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, I just had a whole flashback. I take this mic from me because I'm just mad.
No, because now. Don't get mad. But no, I don't know. It's when colorism, it runs really deep, and to give him the benefit of the doubt, not saying it's right, but it's kind of like, no shade to Nigeria, but there's a lot of Nigerian people who look like ghosts but got black-ass kneecaps, black-ass elbows, and black-ass lips, looking like an experiment gone wrong because they done used too much cake soap. Should be looking crazy.
Man. And then it's very prominent in Jamaica. It's very prominent
it's sad.
in Puerto Rico. And it's like they are erasing what makes them beautiful because this small-ass continent in the Northeast is telling them this is what makes you beautiful.
Yeah, and I think it's funny how they tell us to want their standard of beauty, but they low-key use our standard of beauty.
Always. They will take the braids, the fat lips, the fat ass, the nice boobs, the beautiful curves. I seen a white girl with an afro the other day, and I almost lost it. If I walked around with my afro, the first thing somebody would say, the first thing my grandma would say to me is, you don't want to comb your nappy hair. That'd be the first thing she'd say to me. But to see that white chick walking around with an afro, and I mean literally she was like puffing it up and playing with it and putting her fingers in it. I was like, that privilege is not even given to my own people that created that shit.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's a form of trickery. It's like they tell you, you're supposed to want to look like us, but we low-key want to look like you. So we getting Botox and getting big-ass lips and big-ass asses trying to change the fact that no matter when it's all said and done, we don't have the melanin that allows us to not crack. So unfortunately, we got to keep going to...
I had this conversation last night.
With who?
With this guy. And the whole conversation boiled down to, why do black people put on sunscreen? And he was like, because we need to protect ourselves from the sun. I was like, have you ever walked into the sun and got a red splotch? He was like, no. I was like, there's a reason for that.
Your melanin. Your melanin is your sunscreen.
You are protected by your skin is protecting you from the sun. They have to create and invent ways to walk around this planet.
They do. They have to create and invent ways to walk around the planet while trying to look like you and matter of fact, the thing about it, the sun is good for vitamin D. We can actually take the sun. The sun is good for us. The sun is not good for them. They get sunburnt, skin cancer. So it's like there's a lot of chaos going on because it's like meanwhile they got to put on sunscreen. They go to the plastic surgeon to get our features, all while trying to combat the fact that they age like milk and end up looking like brown paper and age like brown paper bags.
And then they tell you to go buy the cake soap so that you can look like them. And then they tell you your butt's too big, or your hair is too big, or your nose is too big. So literally, they are stealing what makes you beautiful and what makes you exist on this planet.
It's a whole form of chaos, really.
It's ridiculous. I'm mad. I am so mad right now. Because all I'm thinking about is the fact that I used to put on sunscreen. I literally used to, every time I would go to the beach, I would tell my mom, I need sunscreen so I don't burn.
But this fact,
I'm not burning.
But I will say to this fact, it's not absolutely wrong when you're in the sun for long periods of time because there is different types of UV rays. There's UVB, UVC. There's different types, and depending on where you're at on the earth, depends on what type of UV rays you're going to get. Africa gets different UV rays than us. That's why they definitely don't need sunscreen.
Do you know the percentage of black people in the United States and in Africa that actually get skin cancer?
0.3.
You stupid. The percentage of black people in Africa that get skin cancer predominantly from staying out in the sun too long is 0.12. And in the cases that they do get skin cancer, it is reversible simply by not going out in the sun for as long.
And because our melanin, our EU melanin, it eats up free radicals like food.
Right. Now, for the Caucasian people that live in Africa, guess the percentage of people that get skin cancer?
What, 40%?
Oh, wow. You got a shot up there right there. But you're close. 36%.
Okay, see?
But they have to have surgery to remove it.
Yeah, I thought everybody had to. I thought when they got that spot, they had to dig it out.
No. For black people, our skin is so regenerative, it can literally eat away at the cancer.
No, I believe that. I mean, for us.
Right, for us, yes. Our skin is literally our shield.
Our melanin eats up free radicals like school lunch.
Right. So when I hear someone say colorism and being light-skinned and using bleaching products, it sends me into a fucking frenzy.
But there is a lot more colorism in Africa than here.
There is, but if you turn on your TV right now, how many black families are you going to see on a sitcom? And I don't mean them.
You mean that are color appropriate?
There you go. That's the word. Because I was going to say high yellow.
Like the show Carmelish?
Somebody tried to get me to watch that show, and I was just like, why? There's not a single person on there that looks like me. Why would I watch that show? And I'm like, literally, you're telling me to subconsciously brainwash myself to be like, oh, I'm only going to be pretty if I look like that. Fuck that shit. Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I don't understand colorism. If we're all black people, then why is it so prominent that we have to look one shade?
It's because even though physical slavery is finished beside the prison system, mental slavery is still alive and well. And that shit was ingrained in us when we were on the plantation. We were divided. When the slave master started to rape the slaves and make mulatto babies, that's when the colorism started. And that was a plan. That was planned. We're going to create a whole different quote-unquote race. We're going to have the blacks, we're going to have the mulattoes, and we're going to have the whites, and we're going to have the mulattoes be in between the blacks and the whites.
Right.
So we're going to have people who think they're better than the blacks, but also know their place when they're with the whites.
Right, but now you got a whole race, and again, I told y'all this show.
Stop.
Look, this show is going to offend y'all. Now you got a bunch of butt-hurt, light-skinned females talking about, colorism doesn't affect me, or you go to the other side of the spectrum, colorism doesn't exist, it's not real, we're all black people. But if you said that, can you really say, did you know that Beyonce used to be a little bit darker?
True.
She was a little bit darker. Just
her own father said that her complexion helped her get to the top.
Right.
And he actually said he brought Tina Knowles home.
Because she looked like a white woman.
He thought she was white.
I looked at her old photo. She could have passed for a white woman very easily.
And that's because his dark-skinned mother said, don't you bring no black bitches home.
And boom, we go back to last week what we were talking about. Because now you got a family talking about don't bring no nappy-headed, dark-skinned woman back to my house. So you got a black man that goes and picks up one of these light-skinned females that then perpetuates that you were only going to be good in the business if you're this shaped. But we're all black people.
Basically, don't bring nobody home who looks like your ancestors.
Hey now.
Don't bring nobody home that reminds you of being you.
Hey
black.
Now. Hey now.
Don't bring nobody home that reminds us that we're indigenous.
Hey now. We live in.
Don't bring nobody home that reminds you to be proud of who you are.
We live in.
Don't bring nobody home. Like, y'all get the point.
We live in this culture where you can love anybody.
Don't bring nobody home that reminds you that you need to love yourself.
But you can love anybody you want. Doesn't matter, black, white.
Yeah, you can bring somebody home who you want until they Sheriff Daddy make sure your ass go missing when you in Burkcorn, Alabama. Then you really gonna get your nigga wake up call and know what time it is.
Talk about that.
When your ass go missing when that sheriff's car pulls up.
You got these, literally, you have black men that go after these white women to make these pretty light-skinned babies.
Talk about it.
And then either the black man ends up in jail, ends up missing, but not before they impregnate and get this pretty light-skinned baby. But now you got this light-skinned baby talking about, oh, I'm so pretty. Oh, I'm better. Oh, I'm
not black. I'm biracial.
Right.
I'm not black. I have wavy hair.
When I do the standardized
I'm biracial. I have a texturizer. Bitch, who you talking to?
When I do the standardized test, I mark other.
I'm an other. Who the fuck are you talking to like that?
I can choose who group I fit into today. Tuesday it's white. I might be Native American tomorrow. I can be black on Friday.
I'm an other. I got a Jack and Jill application. Who you talking to?
Man, okay.
But no, what you said something very important.
What did I say?
Earlier.
Oh God.
You were talking about how the people who have the most
she says, sorry, I am so late on getting your response. You said, ain't there like one or two darker people or blackish?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we gonna talk about it later.
Terrible.
Oh, but no, I was gonna say too, you brought up a valid point about earlier when you said the people who have the most traumatic psychological issues are black women.
Yes.
And I believe, and the reason why nobody can debate that is because I believe you can pass down trauma through DNA.
No, that's
and if you think about all the trauma we went through of slavery, when we first got put in shackles, all the way to now, it just piled on and piled on. It's like first, you're taken away from your home. Then you're raped by this man who just has his way while your husband watches. And then on top of that, your husband starts taking on the traits of that slave master because the slave master tells you this is how you're supposed to treat your woman. And we start adapting to European standards, not only with our looks and our beauty, but how we interact with each other.
See, I saw it from the opposite direction then. I said we were raped by the men. Yeah. And then our spouses were made to watch. But while they were watching, you have the man raping us say, see, he can't even protect you. He's not worth anything.
That's what I'm saying. And then he takes on the traits of that slave master because the slave master tells him that's how you're supposed to be towards your wife, because that slave master comes from a long DNA line where you beat your wife and you only fuck with
But
appropriate.
that also affects black men, though.
No, it does, and I'm not saying that, but I'm speaking to your point of women being traumatized.
Yes, mostly.
And how they have because at the end of the day, European standards were just adopted all the way around, point blank, period.
Yes.
But
that's why people believe that there are no black people in Australia.
They're kind of not. They damn near extinct.
They're damn near extinct, but they're not. I don't want to get.
I don't want it to happen.
Right.
But I mean, shit, they're trying to do the same thing to the people in Australia like they did in Tasmania.
Yep, sure are. So try to hold on to that little bit of faith.
But so yeah, I understand why you said that study said we have the most trauma. Because it's trauma stacked on top of trauma that's passed through our genetics.
But it's also still currently happening. You have
absolutely.
You can go down the line from sexual abuse to colorism to drug abuse to Planned Parenthood.
To having your mama say you pretty for a dark skinned girl.
Right. To having your mama say, marry a white man. To having your mom to the boys out there, to having your mama say don't bring home no dark skinned woman that looks like me.
Or I don't date dark skinned girls.
Right, exactly. Or if she doesn't have silky Hawaiian hair, then don't have a baby with her.
If you don't look like Lisa Monet, I ain't fucking with you.
Exactly.
So I wanted to speak on that earlier, but we went so fast going through the topics. But it's true, and so it's kind of like we got to find a way to heal in a healthy way. Because us going against each other by way of color ain't it.
Of course not.
We know that. It's like it has to be an overall. We gotta all get that shit together.
Well, how do you propose that happens? Because whenever someone brings up colorism, you always get the light skinned brigade talking about no, colorism doesn't exist for all black people, and then you have black women, dark skinned women that are like, no, literally it is an issue, and we need to all address it. It's not just us issue; it's a all of us issue, and.
I'm a speak on something. I'm gonna prophesy something.
Okay.
Sad thing is, in order for this to happen, we're gonna have one big nigga wake up call. I mean, to epic proportions. It's sad, but it's like, think about it. All the things that have happened.
Wait, nigga moment.
So think of everything that's happened. Deep Pat, we can just go back 10 years. We ain't even got to go back and make it. That deep, but just going back 10 years and we still don't get it. Think of all the things, traumatic things that have happened to us as black people, and we still don't get it. We're still in a constant cycle of insanity.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying,
but that's because
it's gonna have to. The sad thing is it's gonna have to. That's why I said we're gonna need one big ass nigga wake up call.
But have you noticed that the divide, the more people like us that come out, it seems the larger the divide becomes. Because don't no black woman want to be told, yeah, your chances are a little bit slim because you're not lighter. And don't no light woman want to be told, oh, you're doing better because you're light.
Because we missed the overall message. Because too many motherfuckers are clout chasing.
Exactly. So
damn you, social media. I have a love-hate relationship with social media.
Right, exactly. As we use social media to get this message across. Black people, and I've noticed this as a whole, as I've done this show, as I've done my research, as I've tried to educate my black brothers and sisters, they don't want to be told where they're wrong, and they don't want to be told what to do to come together. Because somewhere along the line, we were taught and subconsciously that we have to go against one another to become better. Not that we need to come together to be better.
Psychological slavery.
Right. And it is I always go into a moment of recession when I meet someone like that. Because I'm like, you say you're about black empowerment, but you're telling me that you want to procreate with someone who doesn't look like you. You tell me that you're about black empowerment, but you're not trying to build your business in a black community. You tell me you're about black empowerment, but you're still praying to white Jesus.
Talk about this. And so I got a testimony because we got serious here, but I got a testimony off this Pinot Grigio.
I want to hear this because her testimonies are rare because she don't come across wild, outlandish people like I do.
No, it's just a general.
Go for it.
But no, but yeah, it's just like to wrap this up. what we were talking about, it's a psychological thing. And like I said, we need one big nigga wake-up call to break them chains that surround our mind. Mm-hmm. Sad, but I swear that is true. Mm-hmm. But do we have anything else besides? But other than that, us as Black people, we need to get our shit together. It ain't gonna get better until we do.
It ain't.
But yeah, I have a rant about asses so big they look like diapers.
Look, see you trying to make this
I did a disturbing video of a woman who will remain nameless, and she got into a fight at an amusement park and threw a stroller. And the bad thing wasn't about, I wouldn't, besides me saying that poor baby's little stroller, it might be fucked up. Another thing is, I was like, but her ass though, she looks like a disabled reindeer. I'm like, why does her ass look like there's a diaper? Ladies, I can't wait till we get to the day that we all love the skin that we're in, and we say fuck what the niggas is talking about, fuck what society's talking about. I'm gonna love me for me, whether I have a bubble butt or a flat ass that looks like buttered bread, a slice of buttered bread, that we just don't care, and we don't look like disfigured animals walking around with diaper asses that might drop down to our ankles by the time we 70.
We can talk about that next week, because next week we're talking about health.
Okay.
Next week we are going all in.
And diaper asses is going into that. We got to stop that shit. Most it ain't definitely. Cute no more. No, nobody care no more. Looking like badly built bags of laundry. You paying Dr. Miami to have you look like a badly built bag of laundry by the time you age. Let's start loving the skin we're in and just think, damn it, I'm beautiful. I give no fucks if I got a little ass.
Y'all, this has been Bobby Brackens and Mo with your Dark News episode 4. Please watch the rest of the videos. I'm going to try to put the rest together. Thank you guys for being on here. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being patient. Next week, I promise you, we're going to have our shit together.
Yeah, we're going to get this whole
thing working. I swear to you, we are. And I appreciate you guys for being ever so patient.
Peace and meditation.
I say peace, love, and cocoa butter, but you know, that's what it is. Y'all have a good night. I'm so